All right, Kyrie's nice moves was one of many in the night last night in Brooklyn. The Nets survived the Hawks, and Trae Young had 30 points with a 145-141 win for the Nets. Kyrie and KD combined for 33 in the fourth quarter alone to hold on for that particular win, and the pace was almost too much for Nets coach Steve Nash to handle. Let's take a listen.
As a young coach, it's hard when you can't impact the game the way you're used to impacting it. So, but the guys hung in. That's the number one thing. I mean, you're not always going to win the way we want to win. Holding teams down tonight, we couldn't stop them, but we finally got enough stops to let our offense get going. And I definitely need a beer.
You may need a lot of beers when you're coaching in the NBA, Steve. Get used to that. All right, Perk, who are you more impressed by, the Nets holding on or the Hawks pushing them to the limit?
The Hawks pushing them to the limit. I had the Hawks making the playoffs this year, but I think they're going to be a dangerous out in the Eastern Conference, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Trae Young is unguardable. They have a lot of firepower offensively, and now they have a leader. They're well coached, but they have a leader in playoff Rondo. And once this team continue to keep building and going in the right direction, come playoff time, they are going to be dangerous and they're going to be scary. And no one is going to want to see this young Hawks team.
George, KD and Kyrie are unbelievable. They are so much fun to watch. But I'm looking at these games and I'm looking at that game last night. I'm thinking, where the hell is the defense in the league? Why is there nobody playing lockdown defense the way we've seen in years past? Why are all these scores so unbelievably high all the time? So for as much offensive talent as there is, and as fun as Trae Young is to watch play, and KD when he's healthy and rolling like he is, why can't the defense come in, and when's it going to be happening at some point this season?
Yeah, for sure. By the way, I'm with Perk on this as far as the Hawks are concerned. It's funny, Perk, because they kind of again, different makeup. But when you said hard out, right, or tough out in the first round, it reminds me of that Boston team that faced an Atlanta team that got pushed to 7 in the first round. Like, I feel like this team has that kind of upside, that kind of capability, because we didn't know the baby Hawks back then with Josh Smith and Joe Johnson and that particular group. Al Horford, right, was on that team. Jeff Teague. We didn't know what they were going to be. They eventually were a team that got to the Eastern Conference Finals and faced LeBron James and company. But we saw kind of that first iteration that year, and I think this Hawks team can be something like that. Do you agree, Perk?
I agree. I agree cold-heartedly. Look, with the additions that they added for us getting Bogdanovich and the growth of Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter, and now they have Clint Capella, who's a guy that could grab all the rebounds and block shots, and Collins. Collins is so underrated, and the good thing about Collins is that he's playing for something. He didn't get the contract extension. He has a chip on his shoulder. But I'm going to tell you, Trae Young is a top 5 player right now in the NBA. He cannot be guarded. You talk about Steph Curry, but this guy is Steph Curry 2.0 in my opinion because of the way he's able to facilitate and make plays for others. But it's no other player in the league, probably other than James Harden, that I noticed that teams send traps at him soon as he cross half court or go boxing ones on him. They do it to Steph Curry a little bit, but Trae Young is on a whole nother level right now.
Nick, you obviously cover Steph Curry. What do you see as far as similarities with Trae Young?
They hate those comparisons, first and foremost, George. When you talk to Steph and you talk to Trae Young, they're like, those guys, they are their own players, and they want to make sure the comparisons don't stick, but it's offensively, they can get whatever shot they want whenever they want it. What I would say in watching the first couple of years here of Young's career, Steph is a little bit of a better defender. Trae Young, as great as he is offensively, that's where the real red flag is to me. I don't think Steph gets enough credit for the kind of defender that he has been at times. Trae Young, in order to take that next step, he's got to play defense at a much better pace than we've seen so far.
George, did Nick just say that Steph was a better defender? First of all, let Nick stop it right now, okay? Neither one of those guys are playing any type of defense, okay? Let's nip that in the bud.
Perk,
Now, I
Steph's
understand.
been much better the last couple of years.
Yeah, because he's not guarding anybody. It's easy to guard somebody who just stand in the corner. Let's come on now. I know you cover the Warriors, but let's keep it real right now. But look, I want to say this. Think about this. John Collins turned down a 4-year extension for $90 million. So that goes to show me that he's betting on himself. And with a guy doing that, turning down $90 million, he has to perform at an elite level or all-star level. And he's doing that thus far. This Hawks team is going to be very, very dangerous come playoff time. Trust me.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.